Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host, Connie, and we are here for another episode of Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt. Last time we actually had a really good one. We had a really good episode last time, coming right after an episode that was actually really bad. So that's a good thing because it kind of revitalized me. I was really worried that the series might go in the negative direction, but it came back from it. But you guys are probably more interested in the fact that I welcomed you in a different way today. So you may have noticed that the channel rebrand has gone through on the day that you are seeing this. And yeah, that's an exciting prospect. There is a video up, a separate video that describes just the basics of everything with this channel rebrand. But just as a note, not really much will be changing in terms of reaction content and whatnot. So what you're seeing here in terms of this reaction should reassure you that things will be going forward as normal. But all of that being said, where do we go from here with this series? Because it's like, this is a very episodic show. Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt is very episodic. Each episode, hell, each segment really doesn't have much to do with each other. There's obviously a tiny fragment of continuity here with like, oh, this character's introduced, well now they'll be popping up again and again, or stuff like that. Or this certain element, this certain character trait is newly introduced to Panty or Stocking or Garterbelt or whatnot, so let's bring it up more and more. And sometimes that can be for the better, but sometimes it can also be for the worse. And with the latter, we've definitely seen that with the introduction of the fact that Garterbelt is clearly satirizing the entire thing with priests and young boys, which is very uncomfortable. And again, it's clearly a satire, but at the same time, it's just something that is so uncomfortable in reality that it's just such a real thing that has happened to, and has been horrible in such a high degree that it's one of those things that is just very hard to satirize and actually still make entertaining, because it's so absolutely disgusting that it's just, even for a satire, it's just hard to watch, you know? But there have been stuff that's been introduced that I've been fine with as well, such as Brief. Brief as a character was introduced in episode 2, and he's come back a couple times since then, and yeah, I have no real issue with them. He's like obviously a panty simp, and he seems harmless enough, just a goofy ass kind of ridiculous kid. But yeah, there can be good and bad in this for sure, and it's just going to depend on how it goes from here. I think there's only 12 episodes, so hopefully we should be able to get through with it. But obviously can't really guarantee anything. But all of this being said, I am excited to see what this episode has in store. Because again, last episode was actually really good. In fact, I would say last episode was the best of the season so far. And if we get more stuff like that, that not only satirizes, but gives actual good commentary on certain things, that's what I really would love to see, you know? That would be amazing. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, so we are on episode 5 today, and I don't know what to expect as usual. I don't really know much of anything going forward. I know like one, maybe two things. Actually, I think only one thing past this point. And as always, I'll tell you what that is once we get to it, just in case anyone is watching along with these reactions and doesn't want to get spoiled. So once we get to that, I'll let you know, like, oh, this is what I was talking about, yada yada. This is what I knew about beforehand. So, yeah. In the meantime, we'll just check this episode out and see what it has in store for us. But yeah, let's get this going. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay. The first of these segments was just kind of taking a back step again. The second segment was really good, but in a very confusing way. So let's talk about these. So the first segment, I don't remember what it was called, but something about snot and everything and boogers. Panty and Stocking meet this guy. He invites them on his blimp. He's supposedly rich and famous. In reality, he's a ghost who wants to snot rocket everybody into the moon for some fucking reason. I don't know. But because of that, he's been making everybody like have this obsession with picking their nose, which for him and Panty seems to go into the sexual, and it's like, why? Why? I don't understand the point of them getting turned on by picking their nose. It's like, is it just supposed to be as gross out as possible? And I mean, considering this entire episode is like, oh, we have one segment on snot, one segment on vomit. It's like, what is this going for? But yeah, he turns into his ghost form, and they have to try to stop him while still picking their nose, and they manage to. Yay. Yeah, the snot ghost guy, I thought, like, for a second there he was voiced by Todd Haberkorn. It was not Todd. It was he who shall not be named. Let's put it that way. If you know me, if you've paid attention to the channel, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Not someone I want to give any kind of attention to outside of that, though. But yeah, so I did recognize the voice, but it wasn't who I was thinking. But let's move on from that, because that was, while it wasn't as bad as the episode 3 stuff, it was closing in on that. It could have become as bad as that easily. It was just, it was too much, again, just like with episode 3. It was just, I don't know how else to describe it. It was too much. The sexual innuendo, not really innuendo, but the sexualization of picking the nose was just, and the imagery when he and Panty were picking their noses together and everything, and it's like it showed like it from the inside, and you know what that was supposed to look like. It's like, and it held on it so fucking long. It's like, why did you have to hold on that so long? But then there was the second segment, done in a style similar to the works of famed anime director Satoshi Kon, but specifically referencing something else. An episode of a show that was done in a different like style that is described as ugly, and apparently fans hated that episode of that show just as much as fans hated the one differently animated episode of Gurren Lagann. So that's a fun little comparison I saw made. But yeah, it's, most of the episode is done in that style, and like even when Panty and Stocking show up, they're like clashing with the style, which is a great idea. It's a fantastic idea to not have Panty and Stocking be done in that style, and instead to have them be animated in the normal way that they usually are, just to clash with that. But basically the episode is the story of this older guy who lives with his wife, is it his mother or his mother-in-law? One or the other. And his daughter, though. He's not doing well at work. He's not meeting his quotas and getting chewed out by his boss because of it. And his daughter's birthday is arriving, and he wants to, get her something good. She tells him that she wants to meet Panty and Stocking. And by the end, as we see, while she doesn't get to meet them, he does get an autograph. And that's cute. Even though, again, I don't know why this kid wants to meet Panty and Stocking. It's like, not really the greatest role models there. But kids will be into shit they probably shouldn't be. We see as well, he tries to get a gift for one of his coworkers. He gets her this turtle, and it's like she really doesn't like it. Everybody says it's bad and ugly, and it's like, what? It's a turtle. It's fine. It's a little maybe weird of a gift, but again, he was going based on what he was told. He's like, she's into antiques. It's like, let's get her this antique turtle. I get what he was going for, and it was a nice move. And also, if you're given something, even if it's not something that you're super fond of, if you're given a gift by someone, you fucking appreciate that gift. And you definitely do not berate them publicly. It seemed that entire work environment was pretty toxic, though. Also, dog might start barking in a second, just letting you know ahead of time. Male person is coming up. But it was a very, very weird episode overall. Because obviously there was the thorough line of, snot, nose picking, and then vomit. Because when the old father, when he went out drinking with his company to make up for his coworker's birthday and the bad gift, quote unquote, he ends up getting too drunk, gets kind of possessed by a ghost, which then comes out of him in the form of vomit and starts to go through the town, but is very easily dispatched of. Really, the episode really wasn't about the ghost at all, but it was there. Hell, it was barely about Panty and Stocking. They just kind of came in at the end to take out the ghost and, give the signatures. But yeah, it's like, it was really good. Like, it was really well done. And I was actually pretty damn invested. I kind of made the joke that I was forgetting that it was a Panty and Stocking episode because of the style and everything. But it's like, it also had a very different tone and everything to it that made it feel very different. And in a very good way. And that's not to knock on Panty and Stocking normally. But it felt like a much more investing show or movie or whatnot. It felt kind of like a Satoshi Kon film in a way. And considering one of my favorite anime movies of all time, Tokyo Godfathers, is a Satoshi Kon film, that is very high praise. But yeah, it was very different. I wonder if they're going to experiment with more different styles going forward. Because I think that would actually be a fantastic idea. But I would love to hear what you think. So tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt? And for now, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.